Well, Petty Ass Clown has returned again with another rage post against the ever wonderful, talented, and insightful Emily D. Baker. Katie Joy's been doing this for years, since her problems with Tati and other prominent social media people. Katie is at an age you would think that she would stop being petty and start being a little more insightful, a little more responsible for her emotional regulation. It is obvious how much she is jealous. She is so jealous of Emily D. Baker that it's seething out of her eyes, her ears, and nose. I mean, I don't know why she targets Emily D. Baker, other than the fact that Emily D. Baker is insightful, intelligent, educated, and has a lot of compassion where Katie doesn't. And Emily D. Baker has covered Katie Joy stuff, of course, without naming her, because knowing how litigious and petty Katie Joy is without Katie Joy's name attached to it, but she still delivered it with a level of professionality that Katie Joy herself has never afforded the target and subjects of her tabloidish content. It's amazing to me that Katie Joy still carries this resentment. I mean, Katie Joy has done everything but everything from diminishing Emily D. Baker's Ugg boots to her education, to her profession, and now calling Emily D. Baker trash? For what? Katie Joy is projecting as always, because Katie Joy is trash. She is trash because she refuses to grow up. She refuses to improve her frame of mind, her circumstances. She resents Emily D. Baker for the most pettiest things. I mean, why get upset because someone has a pair of Ugg boots and a Tesla vehicle? I think Emily D. Baker brought that up in a just a casual conversation a couple of years ago. I mean, those things, people have those things. It's not something that Emily D. Baker has that nobody else is able to attain over time or whenever. And Katie Joy, I think, bought that BMW because I think she's trying to compete with Emily D. Baker. Perhaps going out of her own budget to do that when she's in the middle of these lawsuits. I mean, Katie Joy didn't need a luxury vehicle. What Katie Joy needed was therapy, an attitude adjustment, some hobbies, new skills training, education. Those are the things that can bring someone forward, not always in a professional way, but on a personal level. But I mean, Katie Joy's nonsense is based on other people's research, other people's stuff, other people's life experiences. Nothing really of hers is original. And even if she does get it right, it's clouded over by her other nonsense that her credibility always comes into question. I don't recall a time that Emily D. Baker's material was brought into question. And if it was, she would have handled it with eloquence and with dignity, because that's the way you handle tough situations. You don't lash out at somebody because you're jealous of them. You put away your jealousy, kind of respect where they're coming from. And, Katie Joy doesn't have the inner character, the emotional fortitude, and the brains to become a legal expert. It's one thing to be interested in that. It's another thing to be a professional in that arena. And it takes a lot of years of schooling, a lot of, a lot of personal time is not available when you study law. It's hard work. It's very hard work. It's hard work to build yourself up, to build your brand day in and day out, or to build your practice day in and day out. It's hard work. And Katie Joy doesn't understand that, because Katie Joy takes from other sources, takes from other people's hard work, and passes it off as her own. She takes other people's experiences, hard-lived life experiences, to make herself look a different way. Katie Joy can't admit that she's mediocre, and that she could change that and fix that if she wanted to. I mean, it's okay to be mediocre. It's okay to kind of be in the background. It's okay, because there is really too much emphasis on people's material success, and not a lot is placed on the personal success of somebody who overcomes great challenges. But none of the stuff that Katie talks about overcoming and working through, it's not even her own experiences. Katie Joy has this parasitic relationship with people, which is it's foundationally unstable when there is emotional dysregulation. Katie's deeply troubled, deeply disturbed, needs some assistance to work through that. But it's also Katie's character flaw. Not there. Material comfort is important. Being able to have affordable health care, being able to afford a house. I don't have a house her size. I live in the city, for instance, okay? I live in an apartment, all right? It's not spacious and vast as her place. Am I jealous of Katie Joy? No, I wouldn't want to be her. I have the internal assets and resources to be a better person. Emily D. Baker can have all of these nice things, but if Emily D. Baker wasn't the person that she is, she would be equally on par, or even worse, than Katie Joy, because Emily D. Baker has a lot of responsibility of being a model citizen because of her position in society. Now, this is my opinion. This is just an outsider looking in. But Emily D. Baker is seemingly a very compassionate person, and she cares about others. That's what makes her rich. That's what makes her wonderful, not because of the things that Katie thinks she owns. And it's not because of all of her fans. It's because Emily D. Baker is good that way. She's honest that way. She's honest about her more humble beginnings. She's honest about her life. She's honest about the way that she conducts herself. but she does it with compassion. To me, that is far more important than BMWs, a 4-bedroom house, and anything else that Catherine dreams that she could have materialistically. But Katie doesn't see that. Katie doesn't care about integrity. Katie doesn't care about good character or employing compassion. And all this stuff all this political stuff that she talks about, all of these social things, Katie's no social justice warrior. You know, I may agree with some of the content she posts about prominent political figures. Okay. But that doesn't mean that I believe her intention by posting these things. She has done a lot of things quite the contrary to that, to bring people down, to behave like a misogynist, going after women, trying to take away their things, trying to make their associations with certain men known so these women could never have a way out of their circumstances, to reinforce patriarchal standards, which Katie Joy does all the time. She's no social justice warrior. She doesn't care about LGBTQ plus people. She doesn't care about people of color. She doesn't care about the working poor. I mean, the fucking world right now is either on fire or underwater. People can't even afford bread, eggs, or even grain to make these things. You know, we have a serious problem with inflation, but I talked to several of my friends overseas, and their inflation's a hell of a lot worse than ours. Okay? I'm not saying the inflation here isn't affecting and hurting people. I have a lot of compassion. I will talk about that in another video because I have a lot of compassion and understanding and respect. But I'm just saying that there are people who can't even buy grain to make a simple bread. They can't pay for their mobile phones, basic mobile phones. They're struggling. They lost jobs. You know, their farms were essentially torched. All of these things, all of these devastating, horrible things, and they're affected by climate change a lot more. But Katie Joy doesn't care about those things. She doesn't care about people who are struggling. She doesn't care about that. She pretends to, but she doesn't care. Katie has a parasitic relationship with the world, at least emotionally. It's about feeding Katie's emptiness. It's not about supporting the world or supporting people, because she would have driven her platform in that direction if that were so. But caring for the working poor, caring for people suffering from climate change, devastated by fires, devastated by floods and weird weather patterns. She doesn't care about those things. She doesn't care about racial inequality or racial inequity. She doesn't care about women's rights. I mean, she doesn't. She's just gloms on to other people's experiences and synthesizes that to create her own stories, to have people feel bad for her, to distract people from her legal problems, from her social problems, from her life problems. I mean, you would think that Katie would hate to be a low-hanging fruit at nearly 45 years old. I think she's almost 45, right? Come on. I think Emily D. Baker might be a couple of years older than Katie Joy. Emily D. Baker's getting it right. Emily D. Baker really is everything that Katie Joy wants to be and can't be. Anyway, that's it for my own petty rant.